Scrap, 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 scrap.
Luke gonna hurt him bad. And Tyron Woodley in his prime, this shouldn't have been a hard fight for him because I think he can take down.
I think he probably
Luke with
starts him in his
regularity.
prime.
Perhaps Luke's got some other type of chin.
Tyron got other type of power.
Okay, I hear you there. But I don't think Tyron Woodley is at a point in his career where he can lean on his wrestling for the duration of a fight. And it looks like he's just hitting pads, trying to sharpen up his boxing, work on that element of his game. And we see that too little, too late type of thing happening with fighters. I keep making the parallel between him and Tony Ferguson. Because you see Tony Ferguson now going to Freddie Roach, trying to learn boxing fundamentals. You see him now matched up with Beneil Dariush, who's kind of in that Vicente Luque tier of the division of exciting, awesome, very cool, so likable, but also they don't have probably what it takes to be champion. And now these former champion-level fighters are being fed to those guys, and in those fights, the Dariush fight and the Luque fight are what's going to show that these guys they're gone, they're done.
So how do you feel? So what we really have to establish is the fact that Vicente Luque is a notable step down in competition for Tyron Woodley in terms of his last two fights. Colby Covington, Kamaru Usman.
Gilbert Burns.
Forgot
About Burns. And I think that Vicente Luque would hurt Burns, but they train together, so that shit's not happening.
Interesting points. So what we really have to find is Vicente Luque, is the style of fight that he's going to be fighting going to produce the same effect that someone like Kamaru and Colby, and even Gilbert Burns to an extent, with the pressure, the wrestling? Because when you look at how Colby won, how Kamaru won, the pressure that they exerted is like no other really in the weight class. And that's really something that folds fighters that aren't really in there and like that. So will the lack of that give Tyron Woodley the breathing room he needs to sit on his punches and actually fire something off?
Well, Luque is a pressure-heavy fighter.
I know, but pressure in the difference.
He doesn't have the wrestling pressure, but he's still going to apply his footwork, much like how Gilbert Burns did. And Tyron Woodley invites guys to back him up to the cage. It's what he does. And it worked against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. And sometimes you see that in otherwise bad strategy works very well against a specific fighter. That shit ain't going to happen here. You don't want to get your back against the cage against Luque. He's got heavy hands. He's got knees. And the boxing-heavy style of Tyron Woodley is going to get his lead leg devoured, similar to Randy Brown, who just lost by a devastating knockout to Vicente Luque.
Damn. So, Tyron Woodley, if he loses this fight, he is officially relegated to what do we call
Mediocrity.
Mediocrity. The halls of mediocrity.
Okay.
Scrap, 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 scrap.
I'm mean, I'm fierce, I'm mad, I'm rude. I got that pro fighter attitude. I'm in the octagon with the podcast on. Let's talk about it on Scrap.